All right, is this the next pump ice by Wall Street Bets, SNDL, Sundial Growers? Holy moly, I don't know. We're going to have to look, and before this is done, we will be able to get a much clearer picture from a technical analysis perspective for educational purposes only. And let's see how we see this playing out. So this is a chart from TradingView. If you're not using TradingView, use something like it to be able to do your own technical analysis. We can share a link on how to get that if you need it. But here, let's look at a couple of things. Long-term trend, 1 day, we see a big old pump that happened here. We got volume coming in, volume coming in, volume coming in, volume coming in, to leading up to that pump. And then it went quiet. And then there's the whole pull down of that, right? Now we see a little clump of volume coming in. And there's a little pump that came there. And look what usually happens before you get the bigger pumps. You usually get a couple of pumps, maybe a third pump, and then takes off before it does that. Now here, it settled into a nice consolidation. You got a nice consolidation happening right here. And let me zoom this in a little bit more because I want to just get a bigger trend picture here. And we also see that we have, let's see, let's put another array right here. We have a trend that's still unfolding right here. Will it break up above that? And if so, what would be the lows as well? Let's take some lows here. If you are into pattern trading, or you see that there's potential here for a couple of different patterns that are developing. We're not going to get too deep into the names, but there you have. And it's looking like it potentially could try to come down a little bit more and then try to take a nice jump up. Let's say it did that, a little tiny little jump, and it got somewhere in here, and we came out here. Again, this is not financial advice. This is just doing our own technical analysis because we have fun, and it's fun to do it. So that would be a 60% jump. If it got to that, it's a 178% jump. If it got to the previous high, that's 375% jump. I would say that would qualify as one of those big pumps that they've had. Now, will it take, how long will it take? Who knows? It could be a while, it could be a year, it could be, I don't know. But what we do know is that this last pump is starting to basically get quiet. And when that happens, usually you see more institutional money come in, what they call smart money, and then getting prepped to make some moves. So if you follow them, then you generally have a pretty good path. Now, that being said, if that was the case, and I'm somebody who's like, you know what, I think this will break way above that because I see a much bigger pattern unfolding here after it got through this whole mess. And why do I say this whole mess is because when we look at this, there are some key points that need to prove that you can get above. That's one of those there. Just looking at larger time frames, there you go. And as a matter of fact, I could probably bring that way back over here because that became an important point up here. We pull that up there. See, got stuck there a little bit, got stuck there. This is where it broke out above that, but then it came right back in it. And now we've got that gap got filled, which is not a big deal here, but here we got another point that becomes a resistance point. So by mere support and resistance, we see that we have a couple of areas where it could make a couple of more little mounds before it decides to take off, if it does decide to take off. Now, this is without looking at any news, without doing any fundamental analysis, without doing, and some people probably won't like the fact that I'm mentioning the technical analysis without looking at fundamentals. If you're a fundamentalist trader, awesome, happy for you, and that is something that works for you. I think it's a great thing to add on to analysis, but I also, to be able to eliminate a lot of noise, I tend to do this, and I'm going to show you exactly how in the next few minutes we can be able to kind of see where this might be headed. So these are all support places where there would be important to take note of. Right there, it stopped. Right there, it stopped. And then here was another top right up here. Those were all key places. Now, what can obviously this can keep going. So let's dream big and assume that this gets to a previous high, which may take a while to get there. Maybe years, who knows? But let's say it did hit just that last high. That is roughly from where we might pick it up, somewhere in the 1400 range. Now, if we pick it up right from where it's at right now, it'll be about 1200 range, so 12x whatever I chose to put in if I was to go into this. So, and so avoid any FOMO, any fear of missing out. I am not at all in any way, shape, or form saying that it's ready to go, but it's certainly showing a pattern here that if it does move to that upside, it would be there. Now, it'd be irresponsible to take a look at this without looking at it from what would be if it breaks down. If it breaks down, and let's say from where you're at, and it decides to tank and come down to the lowest lows, then you're looking at another 75% drawdown to 80% drawdown. Is that possible? It is. See this right here? It came up here, here, and did 100% retracement and then some in here. So it is still a risky investment, just like anything else. Anything else is risk. And if you do fundamentals and you say, hey, you know, Sundial Growers, they're going out of business, CEOs changed, whatever, then that may play a factor into pushing this one way or another. But if it were to be a nice jump up, it could be up into this region, and that would be really, really nice, wouldn't it? So let's take another moment and see one other tool that might help us be able to get a better sense of this, and also a tool that might have reminded us or told us if there's any notification. Now this particular tool, not everybody has access to it. It is a Dolphinator that we coded ourselves to be able to give us a notification when there might be a good opportunity showing up. And according to this, let's see what happened. See on this one right here, give us a notification here. And boy, did it take a nice jump. That was nice and early. That could have been nice. We didn't catch that one. This is giving us a second notification right here, and it caught part of that wave. And obviously from here, it's given us, and gave us the last notification it gave us was about, let's see, when was that? That was on June 22nd, no, 23rd, 24th, that there might be something coming up, and then it's pulled back. So if this were to be one of those that ends up coming out to be a good notification, which there's a couple of things lining up, then, oh, that might be nice. Now some people are saying, well, there's a 200, that's the red one, that's a moving average 200, and the yellow is a moving average 50. If it gets below those and it stays here, it may be a little while longer before it goes and flies. So let's check one more tool and see if that, if you're curious about this this tool, be happy to reach out and we'll let you know how you can get access to that. But let's do just straight Fibonacci's and see if from an extension perspective, from that high to that low, which is the lowest that it had ever been, where might that point and what kind of things give us a clue what would be the highest potential that it could reach. Now, well, highest potential, you know, it could go on, right? It could go way up into these regions if it breaks above these highs and then some. But from the medium to longer range, so months probably, could be that we could end up seeing a zone right here. There's going to be likely to be some turbulence in this area. That we know there's going to be turbulence right in the trying to break a new high there. And then if it managed to do that, it's probably going to try to test this high when it starts getting above here. So anywhere in that region, it might try to hop up above it a little bit to try to break that new high. But this region would be something that I would be looking at for that next level. Now, if it did manage to, let's say, get up into this region and start to pull back and do something of the sort, and it wants to break into new ground, then from there, could it be realistic that it could jump into the 1618 area, to this area? It's very reachable. And beyond that, of course, we can keep going and speculating. There's all speculation, right? Because we're going off of technical analysis, and that's the only thing we've done so far. If you like specific projects, specific stocks, and it would be very responsible for you to do some fundamental analysis, especially if you're going to be in a place where you are going to be holding this for a long period of time. And then before you put anything anywhere, make sure you consult with your financial consultant or advisor to see if they, if that's something that would be appropriate for you. All right. So there's the analysis. If you like this, go ahead and smash that like button so you can get some more of these, along with subscribing to the channel so that you can be notified. If you turn on those notifications as soon as we put something out like this, you can check to see if it is something that aligns with what you're hearing out in the social media world. Because the social media world, a lot of these individuals are looking at it from this type of perspective as well. Along with the fundamentals of what may be a short squeeze or something of that sort. So if they line up really well, then you've got another confirmation of it potentially flying up. So stay safe out there with all the trading, and don't fall into these pumps right here. Don't fall into, if you something already jumped. You know, I hate when people, when I used to get caught on those, and when people get caught on those, because now people have to wait it out, and a lot of times they end up losing money. So wish you the best, and may you succeed in your trading. Feel free to hit that smash that like button and share it with a friend. Let's see if they can benefit from that. Take care.